Well, some seasoned economists have slammed the coalition's proposal to allow home buyers to dip into their super. Here's our senior business correspondent, Peter Ryan.
Veteran economist Saul Eslake is never short of a word, but his immediate reaction to Scott Morrison's superannuation for housing policy was red hot.
Well, I said I wanted to scream, this reckless inflation of house prices must stop.
Saul Eslake says there's plenty of history confirming that government stimulus, tax breaks and now plans to allow access to superannuation only makes home ownership more difficult. And the trade-off between the hope of capital gain from real estate versus compounding interest on superannuation balances could be a risky bet.
We now have almost 6 decades of experience, which in my view proves unequivocally and incontrovertibly that anything which allows Australians to pay more for housing than they otherwise would, be it first home owner grants, stamp duty concessions, mortgage deposit guarantee schemes, and even lower interest rates, results primarily in higher house prices, and this policy is just another example of that.
A lot of people glaze over when they start hearing about compound interest and how that works, but it is a pretty big decision if you're betting on capital gains and house prices at a time when they might be falling.
While it's true that residential property prices have risen at a faster rate over the last 30 years than the sort of assets in which superannuation funds invest, the mere fact that property prices have risen at a faster rate than superannuation fund assets over the last 20 or 30 years is probably a good reason for wondering that that might not be the case over the next 10, 20 or 30 years.
Saul Eslake isn't on his own in urging caution. Economist Stephen Kakoulis agrees now might not be the best time to pay more for real estate, and that people who do get in could end up relying on the aged pension if their super balances are eroded early on.